Good morning and welcome to the area Securities Markets Update. Beginning as usual with the Asian session today, there were two economic releases from New Zealand and Japan which had a medium impact on the markets. In New Zealand, current account posted the first surplus since the third quarter of 2010 by 1.41 billion, comparing to a deficit of minus 1.51 billion in the first quarter of this year, while it had been anticipated to show a surplus of 1.42 billion. In Japan, trade balance deficit remains but came in less than expected, narrowing to minus 0.86 trillion yen in May, down from minus 0.88 trillion yen in April, while it had been anticipated to widen further to 1.01 trillion yen. As for the European session today, there are no economic releases today, while all eyes will be headed toward to the MPC meeting minutes, which will be released at 8:30 GMT time this morning. The Bank of England is likely to show further positive outlook, while we will be waiting for further explanation regarding the first rate hike, especially after the Bank of England Chairman Mark Carney hinted last week that interest rates may rise sooner than the market expected. Furthermore, German 10-year bond auction will be held during the day. As for the U.S. session, there are two economic data sets from Canada and the U.S. Canada wholesale sales is expected to rise by 0.3% in April after a decline of 0.4% in March, while the U.S. current account deficit is expected to widen to minus $96 billion in Q1, comparing to minus $881 billion in Q4 of last year. Yesterday, the U.S. economy figures came in with more and more negative numbers for the housing markets. Building permits and housing starts collapsed by around 6.5% in May, while the estimates were to show a slight decline with less than 1%. However, inflation came in higher than expected, and the year-over-year CPI rose to above 2% for the Federal Reserve target at 2%, reaching as high as 2.1%. Today, all eyes are headed toward the FOMC decision, which will be released at 18 GMT time, and will publish its decision regarding the tapering process, and will also publish its economic projection. And most importantly, the press conference also, which will be held at 18:30 GMT time. Since the beginning of the spring season, more than 70% of the economic releases came in with either a disappointment figure or worse than expected, which leads us to a conclusion that the Federal Reserve may cut its growth forecast again this year. Based on the recent economic data, the Federal Reserve may also decide to pause the tapering process for some time in order to wait for further economic evidences on whether the economy is improving or it's slowing down further. We will be publishing also a special report later today explaining the expected outcome of this meeting. Stay tuned and follow us on our social media sites, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, to get the latest economic releases, reports, and analysis. Thank you for watching.